Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Politics Unfiltered. I am your host, Andre Jaho. And tonight, we're going to be going back to a couple of days ago. President Donald Trump he had a speech, and we're going to fact check him because we know that he lies a lot. So we're going to fact check Donald Trump. This is a solo show tonight. All right, but we'll have another episode with the crew, JD and Sean. While we're sharing, listen to this song. These are all the black men and women that have been killed at the hands of police. If you're watching, leave a comment and let us know that you're watching.
Sean Bell, won't you say his name? Say his name. 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 Won't you say his name?
Let us know that you're watching in the comments. You are watching Politics Unfiltered. This is independent media.
Say his name, Freddie Gray. Say his name, Freddie Gray. Say his name, Freddie Gray. Won't you say his name? Ayanna Jones. Say her name, Ayanna Jones.
Listen to these names.
Ayanna Jones. Say her name.
Black men and women that have been killed at the hands of police.
Sandra Bland. Say her name. Sandra Bland. Say her name. Sandra Bland.
They've been killed unjustly.
Sandra Bland. Won't you say her name? Say her name. 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 Won't you say her name?
Kimani Gray, say his name. Kimani Gray, say his name. Kimani Gray, say his name. Kimani Gray, won't you say his name? John Crawford, say his name. John Crawford, say his name. John Crawford, say his name. John Crawford, won't you say his name? Michael Brown, say his name. Michael Brown, say his name.
You remember these names, y'all?
Say his name. Michael Brown, won't you say his name? Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name.
Y'all
Say
see
his
George
name.
Floyd
Say his name.
right here.
Say his name. Won't you say his name?
This is George Floyd. That's Breonna Taylor.
Miriam Carey, say her name. 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 Sharonda Singleton, say her name. Sharonda Singleton, say her name. Sharonda Singleton, say her name. Say her name. Say her name. Emmett Till, say his name. Emmett Till, say his name. Emmett Till, say his name. Emmett Till, won't you say his name? Say his name. 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 Won't you say his name?
All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for joining us for this episode of Politics Unfiltered. And we're going to get into this video with Donald Trump. All right, y'all? We're going to get into this video. So this is a speech that Donald Trump did a couple weeks ago. Well, no, a couple days ago. I'm sorry. And we're going to fact check Donald Trump. All right. We're going to fact check him. So let me tell you, this is how it's going to go. If Donald Trump says something that is true, then this will come on the screen. All right, we're going to give him credit where credit is due. If he says something that's mostly true, then this will come on the screen. Okay, if he says something that's an opinion of his, then that will come on the screen. If he says something that is unsupported, then this will come on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. All right, if he says something that is misleading, then this will come on the screen. If he says something that's false and that they're all lies, then this will come on the screen. All right. So let's get into this video, y'all. All right. And if y'all have a comment, please leave a comment and let us know that you're watching. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Please like and share this video. Let's get into the video.
Good evening. Before we begin, I'm proud to report that our country is safer, stronger, and far wealthier than it has ever been before. We are doing great. Less than 2 years ago, we inherited an economic and social disaster. After the worst inflation in 48 years, the wide open borders with millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, including criminals of all types, and 11,888 murderers.
Mostly true. Mostly true. Inflation peaked at 9.1% in June and 2022, and the highest since 1981. That's been 41 years ago.
Many of whom killed more than one person. We had transgender for everybody, men and women sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us as a nation, but not anymore. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. America is respected like we have never been respected.
2 years ago, our country was dead. 2 years ago, our country was dead. That's just an opinion. Was it dead? Was it really dead, y'all? Come on, don't let him tell us crap, okay? Because he's gonna say a lot of foolishness.
We have more money being invested in the United States than at any time in the history of our country.
He just said we have more money that's been invested in America than at any other time. That's unsupported. That's very unsupported. Many announcements. There's been a lot of announcements, but no record that actually investigates claims that exceed verifiable data. Okay, we don't have any verifiable data to support what he's talking about right now. Okay, all right.
More Americans are working today than ever before. This week it was announced that inflation saw the largest monthly decline in more than 6 years. Just happened. It was just given out. The media reported it, and we accept it. The best in 6 years. The tax cuts in our great, big, beautiful bill are saving hardworking families thousands and thousands of dollars. Like with the provisions, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
Misleading. He's lying. He's misleading. He's misleading. Okay. No tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security. This involves deductions, limits, expiration dates, not a blanket exemption for everybody. It's not for everybody. All right. So he's misleading everybody. And if you don't know, then you don't know. All right. That's just how it goes sometimes.
Along with the interest deduction on a loan used to purchase a car, but only if that car is made in America, and a 100% expensing for our job-creating businesses. Our stock markets are at their highest point in many years, but we can actually say of all time, And your 401ks, pensions, and retirement accounts are setting records every single day, the highest in history. For years, we paid the highest price for prescription drugs anywhere in the world. Now we pay the lowest price under my most favored nation's policy because I was able to get the rest of the world and the pharmaceutical companies to act responsibly. Drug prices are coming down by 70, 80, and 90%.
Drug prices are coming down 70, 80, by 70, 80, or 90%. Misleading, sir. Donald Trump, President Trump. Misleading. Some drugs and discounts see big cuts, but not across the board. Okay? So, prescription drugs are very, very expensive. And I'm sure you that are watching at home, you can attest to that.
Rx.gov. This will ultimately reduce the cost of health care. You have to go to trumprx.gov and take advantage of it. But the cost of health care is coming way down because of what we've done with prescription drugs. And with Trump accounts, every child in America now has access to a tax-free investment account to save for their future. Billions and billions of dollars are being invested, put in by companies and individuals to take care of our children so that at age 18, they will have potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in their account, and they'll get off to
Misleading. These accounts will give children hundreds of thousands of dollars when they turn 18. No. Possible with large contributions and strong returns, but it's not typical. It's not typical. There'd have to be some real strong things, some strong returns coming on in, and that's not a thing that usually happens. The rich want to stay rich. And how do the rich get rich? By keeping the poor down.
a great start in life. So for that, go to trumpaccounts.gov and sign up your child or any child who'd like to sign up. Our previously wide open borders have been transformed into the most secure borders in the history of our country, with 0 illegal aliens being admitted to the United States in the past 14 months. That is 0. Nobody thought it was possible. We had the worst border in the history of our country, and now we have the best. Crime is plummeting nationwide, with the murder rate at its lowest level since 1900, or more than 125 years ago.
That's unsupported. That is unsupported. We do not know that to be true. Declines are real, but in 2026, the full year data is not final. Okay? And that comparison to 1900, that's very difficult to compare that. So, that's unsupported. There's no facts to that.
We're making a record investment in our armed forces, and we have the strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil.
We won in Venezuela. That's an opinion. That is Donald Trump giving his opinion. We won in Venezuela. That's an opinion. There's no clear definition of won. That's a subjective claim that he's claiming. We have no record of that. Okay? That's his opinion. That's not factual.
We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed, because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness. For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure, one where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes and really exposes like levels never thought possible to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you, the American people, our beautiful, our great American people. But that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House Government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people, along with the staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings. We are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote.
Okay, so that's misleading. I wanted to let him continue to talk, but it's misleading. I've already watched the video, by the way, so that's when I know when to put what's a lie and what's not. Much voter info is already public. Okay, so there's no public evidence of how China could obtain 220 million files, and there's no evidence to prove what they did with it if they did anyway. All right, so that's misleading.
And engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening. This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare. The intelligence even shows that China assigned a data exploitation unit specifically to this new project. Compounding the travesty, the second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling, covering it up from both the president.
Unsupported. There's no support. There's nothing to support what he's talking about. Okay? There's nothing to support. Disagreements exist, but there's no proof of a deliberate criminal cover-up. Okay? There's no evidence that China altered voter database or created fake voters. There's no evidence of that. All of these things that Donald Trump is talking about right now are unsupported. There's nothing out there to support what he's talking about. Continue.
And the American people like nobody thought was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information secret and hidden. They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they kept saying is, this is the most secure election in the history of our country.
Thank you for watching on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much.
Out to say, the cover-up of this colossal security breach is even more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration and our 2020 campaign. They did not want, and they just didn't want it. They fought like hell not to have it, Donald Trump, to win, and for good reason.
Unsupported, that is unsupported. There's no assessment China considered to influence the 2020 election, okay? There's nothing that supports that. This is unsupported. So Donald Trump is going on again with his unsupported rhetoric. All right, we'll let him continue.
As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and foreign elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his re-election. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election itself. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot, when actually your president has done a great job, and they did everything possible to do exactly that. Going on, this document says, and this is by the CIA, the strategy included efforts to use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence U.S. business leaders to turn against the President of the United States of America. The Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums.
So I'll give the president credit when he's telling the truth. Most of it is true. Most of it. So it may be accurate quotes, but intelligence reports can include unverified information also, okay? But mostly true. Continue.
Money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could, and they didn't care what they said. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election, and the reason they wanted me to lose is because they knew I was wise to them, charged them billions and billions of dollars worth of tariffs, and built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have
unsupported. What he's saying right now is unsupported. Plausible motive, but not evidence of a successful operation. It's unsupported. Okay? He's just talking right now. There's nothing to verify what he's talking about right now, okay? And how would we know? How would the American people know? We wouldn't know. We're not inside those rooms. So, but if you keep saying something over and over and over and over and over again, then you're going to tend to believe it. So, continue.
Strongest military anywhere in the world. These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA and NSA reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One email among intelligence analysts admitted that they had, quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote, a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who witnessed such efforts perceived the motivations to be blatantly political. Recently, we found significant numbers of burn bags in formation, and this is a group of bags that were used to destroy information given by President Barack Hussein Obama to be burned. It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and
He can barely even read the teleprompter. He can barely read his lies. And you know that President Obama lives rent free inside of this man's head, right? Yeah, right inside of his head. President Obama has a penthouse inside of the brain of Donald Trump, right there.
but it never happened. Maybe we got lucky. We believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that were supposed to burn the bags. But the findings are stunning. Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden, to fire those involved in the cover-up, and to file criminal charges, if appropriate, against these people. Yet concealing China's meddling was only the beginning. The third set of documents we are releasing proves that for many years, Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure, including electronic voting machines and ballot counting systems, dishonest.
Misleading. Americans were lied to about voting machines and security. Officials never said that machines were perfect, okay? Vulnerabilities have been disclosed. Voting machines are vulnerable and easily compromised. False. Okay? Some vulnerabilities exist, but not easily. So there's no evidence that they were exploited. No evidence at all. He has no evidence. He can talk, but if you ask Donald Trump for some evidence on what he's saying right now, he cannot literally give you any evidence. He has no evidence.
Almost all. They're vulnerable and they're easily compromised, and people within our government knew that. Tonight, we're publishing a series of previously classified U.S. intelligence community assessments and other reports proving that our government has long known these machines are extremely exposed to attack. As one assessment states, we judge that the United States adversaries, including at a minimum Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. That's unquote, but that's some
true.
statement, isn't it? Made by.
That's true. The adversaries, they have cyber capabilities to do a successful cyber attack if they really wanted to. We already deal with hackers already, and most of them people that are hacking, where are they? They're over in India somewhere, So it can happen.
Supposedly great patriots of our country. The document goes on to further state that, quote, we assess that centralized election-related data repositories, such as voter registration databases, poll books, and other official election websites, are most vulnerable to exploitation, and adversaries could use this access to these systems to disrupt election processes within the United States of America. Tonight, we're releasing all of those findings, and spanning from January 2020 to June 2026. This is a cyber threat aimed at the very heart of our democracy. Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals or change election results on these terrible machines. Today, we are releasing documents that show the CIA obtained reporting of a specific plot to do a big number in favor of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela. And that's exactly what happened, conspiring to digitally rig their own country's elections in 2020, and that's what they did. This reporting included precise details about methods to...
Let me pause this for a minute. You guys that are watching, what do you think? What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? We would love your comments. If you're on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up button so other people can be notified that that we're on the air. If you're on Facebook, please like and share and comment. Comment. You're watching. Let's hear what you got to say. I want to hear you guys' opinion. Let's continue this conversation.
Regime developed to digitally alter vote totals in ways that could not be detected even with an audit, no matter how deep they went. This intelligence underscores why we must take urgent action to ensure that our own system can never, ever be hacked or compromised like it was in the past. The fourth set of documents reveals that even when significant evidence of fraud has been detected, it has been buried and covered up. Among the disclosures tonight are FBI files detailing evidence of alleged fraud by a large-scale voter registration operation in Michigan. In 2020, Michigan State Police raided a Democrat Get Out the Vote organization, corrupt group in Muskegon.
False. False. They did not prove that anything happened fraudulent, that there were no fraudulent ballots cast or changing the result in Michigan. That's false. That's a lie. That is a lie. There was no fraudulent activity in Michigan, ladies and gentlemen. He's lying.
And we're so concerned by what they found. They were just so concerned. They couldn't believe it, actually, that they contacted the FBI in Detroit. The documents state that some canvassers admitted to FBI agents that they signed voter registration forms in other people's names, submitted fraudulent registration for people who did not exist, and received gift cards tied to their number of applications that they produced. In other words, it was pay, play, and cheat. The FBI agents working on the case believe that crimes were committed, yet the Biden Department of Justice slow-walked the investigation and killed it. Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the matter is fully investigated and to work with the Department of Justice to prosecute those responsible for any crimes. Finally, to reveal just how vulnerable our elections continue to be, we are releasing the results of a stunning investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. According to the DHS review of state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files, the real number is actually much higher than that.
That's misleading. It's misleading, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Outdated rolls exist. They're being listed does not mean that someone voted. Okay? They can put names on a list. It doesn't mean that they actually voted. So that's misleading. He needs to actually have proof of these things. There's no proof of what he's saying.
Yet, even this limited analysis found more than 250,000 foreigners illegally registered to vote. Put together, these disclosures reveal an election system so broken and so vulnerable that no one can possibly defend it. It is not defensible. Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking and manipulation and corruption. China and other countries have been trying to meddle in our elections. Evidence of fraud has been buried. Hundreds of thousands of non-citizens and dead people are listed and active on the voter rolls, and yet we still have elections with no voter ID.
Large number of non-citizens voted in federal elections. That's a lie. Non-citizen voting is illegal. And it's rare. It doesn't happen. Okay? And studies find very, very small numbers if that it does happen. So what he's saying is a lie. He's trying to make it seem like there were so many non-citizens that voted and that's why he lost. It's a lie, ladies and gentlemen. And then he said a dead person, dead people. Dead people's on the roll. Usually that indicates that outdated records, it's an outdated record. It doesn't mean that the ballot was cast. There are plenty of records of dead people. My mother passed away in 2003. Her name might be on a record somewhere. It doesn't mean that her vote should count this coming election. And if it does, whoever's putting her name on a ballot for this upcoming election, they're wrong. They're cheating. That's how that works, ladies and gentlemen.
No proof of citizenship, and tens of millions of ballots floating aimlessly through the mail. As one example of the insanity, California's recent election for mayor of LA and governor was held on June 2nd, a long time ago, but it was just completed a few days ago on July 10th. Think of that, much more than 1 month. Took a month to count the votes. I wonder what they were doing.
So far we got about 47. We're at number 47. I'm gonna stop it right here, ladies and gentlemen. There was at least 30 lies. About 15 things that were unsupported. Donald Trump, and these are things that he said already. Why am I showing this video? Just to show you that Donald Trump lies. You can go back to another video and he's going to be saying the same exact thing, the same lies. He's going to say the same lies over and over and over and over again until the cows come home. We're going to stop here, ladies and gentlemen. All right. But we'll be back with another episode of Politics Unfiltered. We did have to fact check Donald Trump and all of his lies. That's why it's important to vote, to really vote. If voting wasn't important, they would not be trying to suppress it. They would not be trying to stop us from voting. So just let that sink in for a minute, y'all. All right. Thank y'all so much for watching this episode of Politics Unfiltered. I'm your host, Andre Jaho, and we'll see you next time right here on the Undisputed Network.